Hi, my name is Doug. I work at Vinogradoff Studio, and this project that we worked on was a butcher block style countertop install. So the species of wood that we used is called Ambrosia maple or Wormy maple. It gets its name from a beetle that likes to dig its way inside of soft maple trees. Once it's in there, it kind of uses the tree and cultivates its own fungus in these little holes that it leaves in the wood. This fungus grows outside of these holes and it makes it look like teeny tiny little worms kind of growing out all over the tree. But anyways, what this ends up doing is after the wood is kiln dried, it leaves behind this silver staining that runs throughout the entire species of wood, and it adds a ton of character and a ton of variety to the grain pattern. Customers typically choose this species of wood because it's got a ton of variety, it looks really nice when it's finished, and also the price can't be beat. The challenges that go along with this is all those teeny tiny little beetles leave a ton of teeny tiny little holes, which makes the finishing process a little bit tedious as it's difficult to fill all those holes in and have it come out completely nice and smooth. But Cole will talk about that a little bit later on in this video. So for this project, instead of using a large live edge slab, we used a bunch of dimensional pieces. We did this for two reasons. One, the customer did not want live edge on the outside of their countertop. And two, when you laminate a bunch of different dimensional pieces together, you can invert the grains against each other, which helps keep it nice and flat and stable over the lifetime of this countertop. A couple of the challenges that we faced while we were working on this project is one of these countertops is incredibly long, so sourcing the material that was going to be long enough and wide enough consistently for all of our laminated sizes was a tricky find. We reached out to every supplier we possibly could, and we managed to track down the species that we needed in exactly the right lengths we wanted. Now that we've finished with all that, let's get into how we made this project.
Should I keep running or should I go? Oh, she's the one. She's the one I'm running after. Oh, she's the one. She's the one I'm running So tell me, baby, I need to know. Should I keep running or should I go? Oh, she's the one.
Hi, my name is Ethan. I'm one of the fabricators here at Vinogradofff, and my responsibility for this job was inlaying and cutting out the cooktop. This process is called an inlay, and first we must transfer our dimensions from the cooktop onto our actual workpiece. Once all of our dimensions are double checked and in the proper place, we'll use a Forstner bit on each one of the corners and then use a jigsaw cutting from corner to corner so we can remove the excess material on the inside. Once the excess material is removed, we use a trim router with a trim bit to cut to our final lines, and then we'll use a chisel to clean up every corner. From start to finish, this process probably took between an hour and a half to complete. Whenever you're installing a cooktop, make sure that you're accounting for the excess hardware underneath and you don't just measure the top of the cooktop and try to inlay that, just in case there's any excess wires or metal pieces or hardware underneath that could get caught or cinch your plate once you inlay it. There's a saying in woodworking, and it's measure twice, cut once. And for this job in particular, it's very important that we make sure that all of our dimensions are correct and you don't just start free cutting without double checking anything, because as this is one of the final steps in the process, we have to make sure that we get our cuts precise, as we really only have one shot with it.
So tell me, baby, I need to know, should I keep running or should I go? Oh, she's the one I'm running after. Oh, she's the one I'm running after. I got the money, I got the show. You got that loving, I can't let go. So tell me, baby, I need to know, should I keep running or should I go?
Hi there, I'm Cole. I'm the lead finisher here at Vinogradoff. I'm going to walk you through the steps of finishing a table from start to finish right now. When I'm finishing a table, I start off by getting the table out of the planer. I take it upstairs and I Rotex it first. That takes me usually about an hour to an hour and a half, depending on the size of the table. By the time I'm done that, from there I go from 120 grit, I work my way up to 180 grit. And then after that, I will take the router and I'll put the profile on it. And then I will clean all the dust off, do the final inspection before I do my first roll coat. And after that, I have to let it dry completely for 24 hours. And then I will polish in between with 220 grit. And then after that, it's a buff coat. You just pour a little bit of finish on the pad, and then put as much material on as it takes. If it's too much, then I'll take the excess off with a fresh pad, and then I just let it dry. It'll self-level itself out, and it'll look beautiful. Some challenges I face as a finisher: the wood's always moving and always opening up a little bit. Every time I turn my back, there's something else, but I usually am pretty good at catching it. I'll fill it with the necessary material, whether it's a rub stick or a P-Tech or a little bit of epoxy. I'll catch every crack, and I'll do my final inspection and put the finish on. Oh, do's and don'ts. Do a good job. Don't use too much material. You're just wasting it. Osmo and Rubio both go quite a long way. That's the finishes that we use here at Vinogradoff. So depending on the size of the table, the whole process could take anywhere from 5 hours to 12 hours. That's not a good waiting time in between coats. I would say once you Rotex, the sanding grits get a little quicker between the two. For a 6 foot table by a 3 foot table, probably take me about 9 hours in total from start to finish.
All right, let's talk about the delivery. We had to take all of these countertops in our enclosed trailer all the way up to Friday Harbor on a really, really nice cottage front property that was right by the water. So we actually did this installation over the course of 2 different days. We brought everything out in our enclosed trailer, but we noticed once we got on site that we had a small discrepancy in the cabinetry blueprints, which means that it was just slightly misaligned from where we wanted it. So we brought a couple of the pieces back, made some alterations back at the shop, and we brought everything back out for its final install on another day. So on this install, we ran into a couple of challenges. One, we had a small discrepancy in the blueprints. The other one is we had to make this large mitered countertop, but unfortunately it would not fit in our enclosed trailer, which means we had to do a lamination of our mitered seam on site, which means that we had to use a combination of glue and mechanical dominoes to kind of bring everything completely nice and tight together. So while that glue was setting, we were doing some other installations for various pieces around the kitchen. We had to come back, declamp everything, make sure that miter was nice and strong, and then we move everything back into position and get it all centered down on the counters. So for each installation day, we brought 3 of our workers out on site to make sure we could bring everything in, hold pieces in place while we secured the countertop down. And also we brought our videographer to capture everything across the entire process the entire time, even got some really cool drone shots. Over the course of both days, probably took about 4 hours on site for each day, not including the travel time to get all the way out to Friday Harbor. So all in all, it took maybe about 8 hours for the entire installation process.
Thanks, Vinogradoff. Looks great.
Thanks for coming along with us on this installation and this entire project. Remember to check out the website at Vinogradoff.com, and also make sure you always let your home grow. We'll see you next time for the next project.